Oh shit! Oh, that hurt my feelings.
Okay. Here's a new episode of Which Was Better.
Alright, this is a big one here. Today we are debating on what was better. GoldenEye
or Perfect Dark. Two of the biggest first-person shooters in the history of gaming. They're both made by Rare. They're both on the N64. You know what we're doing? Let's get started. You're going first because the GoldenEye came first.
Alright, GoldenEye. This is one of the almightiest motherfuckers of video games out there. This is the game that after Doom was the next step in revolutionizing the first-person shooter genre. And this is the one that every single shooter game with multiplayer, mainly first-person ones, owes everything to. And to this day, it still holds up. Not only is one of the greatest and all-time best shooter games, but one of the greatest and all-time best games of all time. It was based off, personally, my favorite James Bond movie. I know many people will at most say it was probably Pierce Brosnan's best James Bond movie, but it was based off a great movie. Sure, it didn't have much of a plot, but again, that's what the movie was for. The controls were solid, the level design and the design in general was great, the multiplayer was genius, everything about it worked. Sure, the game at times could be extremely tough and, I'll admit, downright ball-busting, but there are many famous games out there that are hard, yet great and all-around fun to play. To this day, this is one of the most memorable and talked about games. This game spawned fucking drinking games from what I heard, okay? No other game, I'm not kidding! People made drinking games for this shit back.
Like what?
Like, if you get sniped in the head, take a drink. If you cowered in the corner, take a drink. If you got the golden gun or something, take a drink. Or you got killed by the golden gun, take a drink. I don't know.
Never heard of those, but okay.
I'm not lying. I'm not lying. This is just what I've heard. Okay, so if I'm wrong, may God or Morgan Freeman strike me down.
Isn't it kind of redundant saying God and Morgan Freeman in the same sentence?
Yeah, anyway, back on topic. This game to this day, from what I heard, is just... I know this is sort of a dumb reason to say, but this is the more talked about game, the more remembered game. And this game thought of many things first. That, maybe I shouldn't be going this far into it, but that Perfect Dark sort of somewhat did over again. All around, this is Rare's masterpiece, and this is... personally, to me, the greatest first-person shooter ever made, greatest game on N64, and one, not the, but one of the greatest games ever made. There's my opening arguments.
Alright. Perfect Dark. Wow, you finally opened that. Like, what took you so long?
I was stating my reasons why I think
you didn't open it earlier?
Because...
Fuck you.
Pretty much, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, whatever. Alright, Perfect Dark. Wow, this is a very good game.
You'll be saying wow every time.
I'll get my sapper and pistol whip the shit out of you. Alright, Perfect Dark. This is an excellent game. It has a very good campaign. I love the weapons in this game, like the laptop gun, that thing that's pretty much like the P90 from GoldenEye, that has a lot of ammo in it, but is really overpowered. I liked how the multiplayer in this game, they got really creative with the multiplayer in this game. Like, not only did they have co-op missions, which are sometimes, to an extent, I think are better than competitive multiplayer, because I find sometimes they can be more fun to play, and they can get a lot more funny moments out of them. But they also added counter-operative. Wow, this thing is so much fun to play. It was really creative. That's the one where where one player is the character in the game trying to beat the level, and one or three other people are enemies in the game trying to prevent them from beating the level. You gotta admit, that was a really cool idea.
I'll counter that in a minute, but I will agree with you. It was such a good idea. I don't get why no other game has ever done that again.
And not to mention, it's so much fun. I thought they added they also added some pretty cool things. Like, I liked how you can only, like in GoldenEye, you can only crouch down when, like, you're staying like this and you only can go down to that. But in Perfect Dark, you can do this, this, and this. I thought that made some things with cover easier to do. I also thought, I like the campaign a lot more in this game. I thought it was more fun to play. I thought that in the things where they explain things in the briefing, I thought it was explained better, and I found the game easier to figure out than GoldenEye for the most part. And yeah, I thought it was a lot of fun to play. Really good game.
Alright. First of all, I'm gonna have to shoot the last thing you said. The last thing you said, I'm gonna have to shoot that down. I'm really gonna have to take that one down, alright? Easier to figure out. This game was so damn linear. That game, I spent so much time after I killed everyone trying to figure shit out. And that's why, that's one of the major reasons why I prefer GoldenEye. This is so simple. Everything was so easy to figure out. I figured this crap out as a child. That, I am much older, and even that was, like, way too much stuff to solve, rather than just, I don't care how stupid this sounds, but rather than just mindless killing. Alright? Secondly,
really, you couldn't figure this out? I guess I'm better than this game at you.
Well, we'll see about that, because according to you, you had to use cover more, whereas I just ran in there and shot the place up.
I'm sorry, what level of difficulty did you play this on? Easiest, where I actually tried it on the hardest difficulty more than you did?
I had that game for about 2 weeks, and I just wanted to get through the thing. I'm sorry.
At least I tried things out with GoldenEye.
I'm sorry, your game confused the hell out of me. Nothing was simple. And plus, your thing on the multiplayer, co-op was nice, but it did not match the deathmatch style. And about the counter-operative, that is something really innovative. But to me, GoldenEye had its own really innovative thing. The 007 difficulty, where you basically manipulate the game. Enemies' accuracy, health, how much damage they sustain. That was so fun. And that's another thing about GoldenEye. GoldenEye, I felt, was much easier just to fool around with. Whereas Perfect Dark was like, there's the mission, just do it, get it over with.
Yeah, like, I will admit, the 007 difficulty, that was cool and all, but I only thought it was fun, like, 2 or 3 times, honestly. I didn't really use it that much.
And the challenges on Perfect Dark were a real poor excuse to make up for the lack of the head-to-head multiplayer. And not only was the head-to-head multiplayer fun as shit, you had more than just a standard deathmatch. You had different game modes. You had with different weapons. You could just have a regular deathmatch. You could have teams, flag tag. You only live twice, where everyone only has 2 lives. You can have the mode where everything is one-shot kill. Slappers only, man.
Oh yeah, and not to mention, they also added alternate fire options for guns.
Those were so retarded to use. They were so ridiculous. I didn't even know what button to press.
Let's see if I can't figure out what button it does. Let me see if pressing buttons will have it figure it out. You dipshit.
I'm the dipshit dude. First of all, the game I didn't even know until like a quarter way through the game that there was such thing as a dual function. It never told you.
Isn't that what the instruction manual's for? Although granted, we didn't have an instruction manual. But then again, there is this thing called the internet.
I'm sorry, I like to be a little old school. That's why I use my PlayStation Underground thing to look up cheat codes for PS1 games.
I still do stuff like that, but I was still able to figure that out without internet.
Here's my explanation for here's what happened with me with the dual functions thing. When I first figured out about them, I didn't need them though. But then something happened. Originally, the first time, it was, I had this one assault rifle with a grenade launcher attached to it, and it just permanently just like switched to the grenade launcher. I couldn't go back. And I didn't even need the dual functions most of the time. I just needed the regular gun. It wasn't until the final boss fight that I needed, with that horrible Mauler weapon, that I needed the charge shot to shoot the things and have it fall on him.
You know, you don't need to use that gun for it. You can use pretty much anything to shoot those things down.
I used every weapon at my disposal. Nothing broke it.
Alright.
I'm not done yet, okay? So, if you ask me, the challenges are, again, a poor excuse for the original multiplayer here. When in the case of innovationness and cool things that they added, the 007 difficulty counters the counter-operative thing, so whatever. The deathmatch was way better than co-op, and as I said, things were just so damn hard to figure out at first in Perfect Dark. Okay, the only things I can really say were better about Perfect Dark the only other things I can really say about Perfect Dark that were better didn't really matter, like having voices and an actual plot and cutscenes. And one more thing about your whole thing about crouching sucks. So many times I tried to just go down, and no, it was like crouch, no, crouch. Okay, no, now go down. No, not up.
That's because you have to hold it, then push it down.
And it was so unnecessary either. In GoldenEye, I could just like go down immediately and aim up. It was so damn easy. I didn't need this other level that still left me somewhat exposed. So it's cool, but really that extra crouching thing was unnecessary, if you ask me.
Oh yeah, and I know I'm probably getting a lot of hate mail for this. I liked the multiplayer in Perfect Dark more than the multiplayer in GoldenEye. Yes, I said that. Haters, come and get me. I don't care what you think. I found I had so much more fun with the counter-operative and co-op multiplayer in Perfect Dark than the deathmatch in GoldenEye.
Nah, I don't know. Again, I found here more times you could be just silly in this game, single player and multiplayer, whereas Perfect Dark was like, yeah, just do your stuff.
No, you could still goof around in that.
I'm not saying
any game.
I'm not saying yeah, but I found it much easier and more fun to goof off in this game. And even though it's only 2 levels, I don't care. I'm saying this. Tank, fucking tank. Running people over and blowing things to hell was a sadistic pleasure.
Yeah, and you were exposed at the top and you could still get shot at. Why wouldn't he just go in all the way where he'd be pretty much indestructible, but people could still damage the tank?
Because then you'd be too indestructible.
Isn't that what tanks are for, to make it harder to kill you? Oh yeah, and let's not forget Natalia. Good God, she could be so annoying.
The President was worse in Perfect Dark. There are barely any times where honestly defending Natalia really got in the way in GoldenEye. There were so many levels where all you had to do was kill everyone and then go rescue her. And then when they finally gave her a weapon, she was actually pretty damn good with it. The only level that trying to protect her made me want to eat my controller was Control
Pussy. That level was easy. What are you talking about?
Try it on 00 Agent. You will want to strangle a kitten.
That's only because you get more damage done to you, not because of Natalia.
You do know the AI is slightly smarter.
True.
Oh yeah, and going back to this, the AI was even dumber in Perfect Dark. I mean, this was,
my gun!
This was dumb, but at times in this game, these guys ran away or didn't even pursue me.
Well, I've never experienced people running away or not trying to pursue you. I thought their aim was just shitty.
No, as I progressed, honestly, their aim was a bit more okay. But,
Oh yeah, but the AI does get smarter as the game progresses. And let's not forget, you only played on in easy mode.
I compared it to easy mode on this, and boy, were these guys were Einstein. The AI in here was Einstein on Agent compared to the AI in this game on Agent. As I said, these guys ran away, and as I said earlier, all I had to do many of the times was just run in there and just light the place up with bullets. I, believe it or not, had to use more strategy here. I had to draw out guards more times. Here, I just ran in there and just screamed at the top of my lungs and shot things.
Oh yeah, and also, there's another thing that annoyed me in GoldenEye that they, for the most part, fixed in Perfect Dark. The physics in GoldenEye could be really frustrating at times. Specifically, the sliding when you get shot. Sure, it can be really funny in multiplayer, but in single player, it could be so annoying. There were so many moments where I was like,
Perfect Dark. Are you kidding me?
But compare it to how much you slide in that game compared to this game. You barely move when you get shot.
Mm-hmm.
And there's so many moments where I was just like, okay, I'm going to shoot this turret. A guy shoots me from the side and go 50 feet across the stage, basically.
If you ask me, the sliding did call it less realistic, but if you ask me, the sliding did provide more of a chance for you to stay alive easier, unlike in Perfect Dark, where an explosion would happen and the screen would just go insane and your health would just drain. I couldn't stand that. And I couldn't stand that bomb that just, like, caused the screen to go...
Wait, which bomb?
It's that little grenade. I forget what it does. I forget what it's called. But, like, the screen all of a sudden just goes... Everything goes slow and blurry. I couldn't stand that. And the effects took so long to wear off. I wanted to eat my goddamn controller.
I'm trying to think. I remember that there was something in GoldenEye that made it try to be realistic. Oh yeah, there's another thing I just remembered that this game does better. One thing that I like that they did better was in GoldenEye they had it so that when you reload, everything's just like... Shh. But in this one, what I liked about was that the guns reload
more primitive game. Primitive game. Okay, more of a primitive game. I'm sorry.
And let's see. I liked how it reloads more realistically in this game. That made me think better about when I have to reload. And let's not forget...
The time still took pretty much the same amount of time, though.
No, it didn't.
It did.
Like, it reloads more like an assault rifle in the actual game, in this, than in that game. Whereas it reloaded, whereas this one... And it does things like that. And shotguns, too.
Yeah, it still pretty much took the same amount of time.
No, it didn't. Oh, yeah. And, let's see, what else was there? I just had something. What was it? Made me forget it. What was it? Let's see, it was something about... I know it involved the realistic.
Oh yeah, and so many guns in that game were just assault rifles. I mean, they were cool, but so many... Oh, and the laptop gun, there's nothing special about the laptop gun. Sure, it looks cool, but it's just another assault rifle.
And what else? Oh yeah, one thing that I liked about it was seeing as this game takes place in the future, it adds more variety to the gameplay.
That's bullshit! That is bullshit!
Enemies,
okay? I am sorry that there aren't aliens in James Bond. That is a bullshit reason. That is major bullshit.
I'm sorry that I like a little variety in games. I'm not saying the enemy types were bad in GoldenEye. I just say that I like this one.
What did they do differently anyway? They
take more hits.
The aliens did not take that many more hits. I don't think they took more hits at all.
And also the weaponry.
So their weaponry's different. It's a weapon. It's a gun. It shoots.
And let's see. What was that thing you made me forget that I was gonna say? I don't remember, what was it?
And I'm just gonna point this out either. This isn't anything truly negative against Perfect Dark, but who were the good aliens in the game? Whoever they were. Those are some of the most uncreative designs for an alien and their spaceship I have ever seen.
Oh yeah, and going back to the variety thing, it's also with the gadgets. Like they had the thing that makes you invisible too,
Okay, that was one thing.
and
but
the X-ray goggles and the night vision goggles. I felt like this game did much better as a thing where I play as a spy than in GoldenEye.
you know, besides just being able to run in and shoot the place up.
Spies also have gadgets too.
Many of the gadgets were just the same thing like in GoldenEye. You just pick something out, you go up to it, you press Z or whatever, and then thing's done.
The thing that makes you invisible, the X-ray goggles, the night vision goggles, the thermal goggles.
Those were so disorienting to look at. Oh my god. They were so disorienting. And they could have made it not disorienting. Metal Gear Solid was able to look fine.
About? They weren't disorienting.
Oh my god, the X-ray thing, when everything moved, it was so... Oh, jeez. I have really good vision, and that made me want to... That almost made my eyes hurt.
What was that thing you made me forget? I'm trying to remember it.
Well, I don't care. I'm giving my closing arguments here. Alright, so GoldenEye. This is the far more simplistic, silly, yet more fun and silly game with the better multiplayer, with the 007 difficulty being just as innovative as the counter-operative, and all around those are enough reasons for me to say, yeah, this game was way better.
Well, I just thought Perfect Dark was a lot more, had a better single-player multiplayer. I liked the gadgets and weaponry more, or I liked how it has an actual story, and I thought it was overall more fun to play.
Whatever. Let us know what you
Yeah.
think down below. Which one holds up more today? Oh please! They released a sequel for that, and it got butchered, didn't it?
I don't know. I never played it.
Anyway, so that's GoldenEye versus Perfect Dark, and I'm just gonna
Tune in next time when we debate which is better, anal or vaginal.
We can't do that. I'm still deciding. But do
But vaginal tells a better story.
do I go up the dirt road or the Red Sea?
This is getting really stupid. Let's just stop.
This is Iron Gear Studios' debate team saying Microsoft and let Rare do their own shit again.
Yeah. Retro Studios, from what I've heard, is basically the new Rare. Metroid Prime games for the win. And Donkey Kong Country Returns and anything else they made.
We'll see you later.